Good morning, dear students. How are you all? I welcome you to the class of biology. So, dear students, we are, students, please report your attendance and we'll begin right away. Dear center, please report your attendance. Okay, so we have a lot of things to do today. So, let's get started. I had already told you that we will be taking a look at some things today related to water potential and related to osmosis. Okay, centers, please first report your attendance. Shillong Center, please report your attendance, and we are beginning. Okay. So in the last class, we had discussed something related to osmosis, and we had discussed some things related to how osmosis can be demonstrated. Okay, so let me give you a demonstration of osmosis. I am sure you will love it. Okay, Senapati, thank you, Senapati and Shillong. So now we are starting. So let's take a, first of all, before we begin, I want you to take a look at a video, and then let me know what you think about it. I'll keep on telling you in between. Okay. So this is something related to osmosis, and you can really do it very well at home also. So what we need is, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cups. So we need actually 4 colors. So you can take 4 colors, like you can take one green, you can take one yellow, red, blue, whatever colors are available to you. Okay. So, okay. Alright, Shillong students, I understand that it's a state holiday. It's perfectly fine. Thank you for communicating. Alright. So what we are looking at here, we are looking at 3 cups of water and we are looking at 4 cups of colored substance. Okay. Now what I need is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I will need 6 pieces of tissue paper, and I need 6 pieces of tissue paper, and I'll put each tissue paper one end in one cup, the other end in the second cup. Okay. So let's take a look what is going to happen. So I'm sure you'll love it. These are 6 pieces of tissue paper, and the first one goes in. The first one. Okay. You can just fold it in between and put one end in the one cup and the other end in the water. So one end in color, other end in colored substance. Okay. And this is the second one. So just keep watching. Actually, the results will not be very immediate. You will need at least 2 hours for the demonstration to actually show you something. Okay. So tissue paper is basically cellulose. Okay. And cellulose, this basically acts like a semi-permeable membrane. It's similar to the reverse osmosis filter that we use in our homes for the RO water filter. So there is not much difference regarding that. Okay. So all these pieces, we are just putting one end in one and the other end in the other. So it can also be said equivalent to a salt bridge. Okay. All right. So, okay. So now you will have to wait for some time. So let's say you will have to wait about 2 hours minimum, but between 2 hours and 10 hours, you will get the most obvious results. Actually, 2 hours is sufficient to show the beginning of the results, and after 5-10 hours, you will get the best results. Okay. So what you are seeing here, can you tell me what's different now? This cup, the left cup on the left was having red colored, okay, and the cup on the right was having blue color, and the cup in this middle, it had only water. So what has happened over this place? Can you give me a suitable explanation based on what I have taught you in the last class? Can you give me an explanation why this has happened? What is the reason? Up till now I haven't given you any explanation yet. I want you to guess the answer based on the results of the chapter that you have just studied, that is diffusion osmosis concepts. And I want a good answer from all of you. So look, there are 7 cups. So you'll have to think about how this water is walking from the cup into the tissue paper and from the tissue paper into the second cup. How is this water walking? It's called a water walking experiment. It's an experiment in physics and in biology. It's called walking of water. So how has this water walked from one cup to the other cup? That explanation I need from you. Can you take a guess? How has this experiment been conducted? Okay, you can at least know it's actually osmosis, not diffusion. Not diffusion, okay? Yeah, I'll tell you why. Yeah, Shillong student, you have made a good guess, but the guess is not, this is not the answer. It's not diffusion. If you want to see diffusion, I should take a cup of water, okay? Just a second. Tell you, suppose you are dissolving something like you're dissolving some colors of holy, okay, into a bucket of water. So you put that substance and you allow it to disperse itself, you allow it to dissolve itself. So when you allow it to dissolve itself, then that becomes diffusion. It becomes diffusion, all right. So diffusion is basically different from osmosis. Diffusion means that a substance is just diffusing, or the particles are just because of their motion, they are going from one area of high concentration to low concentration. Okay. So I'll tell you how this has happened. This experiment, I have to take 7 beakers, 7 cups. I have to take 7 cups, cup number 1, cup number 2. Let me start with this one, okay. So what was happening is, let me take blue color in this cup, sorry, yellow color in this cup, and let me take blue color in this cup. And I am joining them together with the help of one tissue paper fold here, one tissue paper here. Okay, and this cup just contains plain water. So what I am trying to do here, this is pure water. This is pure water, and this is a sugar solution or salt solution. And this is also a sugar or salt solution. It doesn't matter. You can take it of any concentration, okay. Now what I will have to do is, I have to take water, and after 2 hours what is going to happen, the blue color and the yellow color, because that is dissolved in water, it has, along with the water, it has come into this solution. And because this process is happening because of osmosis, a substance moves across a semi-permeable or selectively permeable membrane from its area of highest concentration to lower concentration, okay. and because the medium is water, so color will also dissolve along with it. Actually, water is moving from pure water to sugar solution. Okay, you can do it in the other way also. What I need to do is, let me show you a different case scenario, a better scenario in which you will be able to understand it better. Let me take sugar solution here, sugar solution mixed with water. Okay, and I'm just taking, this is colored water, yellow colored water, and this is just colored water, nothing else, just plain colored water. This is blue colored water, this is yellow colored water. Now what will happen? Now you will be able to understand it better. The water will move from the colored cup, the yellow colored and the blue colored cups, into the sugar solution which is kept in the middle. Are you getting me? The water will move from these solutions, these cups, sorry, it is pure water, and it moves from its higher concentration. Pure water is highest concentration, and a solution containing sugar, it is a concentrated solution in terms of solute. The solvent has actually become lesser, water content has decreased compared to, because a new substance has been added. So water will move from its higher concentration or higher water potential to the lower water potential in the middle. So the middle cup will now contain yellow colored substance also, yellow colored water also, because water will carry the color along with it. And what will be the color of this middle one now? It will become green. Name of the chapter. Okay, so the thing is, this is the concept of diffusion and osmosis. Okay, we are basically studying the concepts of diffusion and osmosis. Diffusion and osmosis of what we have done in the last chapter. Okay, in the last class we had discussed about water potential. All right. Okay, so all right, you are asking me, active transport when molecules move against concentration gradient. Is active transport also diffusion? No, active transport is not diffusion. Active transport is not diffusion. Active transport is not diffusion at all. Active transport is something else. Active transport happens against concentration gradient. Diffusion only happens with the concentration gradient. That is, anything moves from higher concentration to lower concentration. So suppose somebody walks into your room and he has sprayed a lot of Axe perfume on his body. Okay, so if he walks past you, you will feel that perfume coming from his clothes to your nose, right? So what is that? That is diffusion. Okay, anything moves from its higher concentration to lower concentration. The person who has sprayed a lot of scent, he will normally not feel anything because his odor receptors have become inactive, but the other people will feel a lot of strong smell. Okay, because they are sitting at a lower concentration, they have not sprayed any perfume over their skin, and one person has used a lot of perfume, so he is basically diffusing that perfume from his clothes to the other people. Okay, so this sort of thing is called diffusion. This sort of thing is called diffusion. So I hope you understand this now. Okay, and now what we have to do is, we have to basically complete the concepts of the chapter of this water potential, right? All right, so let's carry on. Let's carry on now. We have basically completed water potential. Water potential was completed in the last class. Okay, so transport in plants, this is the name of this chapter. Now today we have to discuss about how the water is going to move from one place to other at a large distance. Students, let me give you a quick revision of this chapter, what we have done up till now. transport in plants, we have to first discuss the short distance transport. Short distance transport. Okay. Chapter summary till today. So, short distance transport includes the phenomena of diffusion, the simple diffusion, simple diffusion, simple diffusion. Then there is another phenomenon called facilitated diffusion. Okay. So, these are short distance transports. Then there is another phenomenon called osmosis. Osmosis is the selective movement of water only from one place to the other. From one place to the other. Okay. So, facilitated diffusion, simple diffusion and osmosis. So, these are the three basic things we have discussed, and these are short distance transport. So, anything that has to move from one place to the other, from one cell to the other cell, normally we consider these processes. So, osmosis, this was a short distance transport also. We demonstrated osmosis, okay, just by this simple experiment, by the colored water and sugar experiment. So, what you have seen just now, it is a demonstration of osmosis. I hope this is clear. Now, there is another phenomenon besides this, it is called active transport. Look, osmosis does not require energy. Facilitated diffusion does not require energy, does not require ATP. All these three processes do not require ATP expenditure, but active transport is a short distance transport which requires ATP for the process to happen. Alright. So, these are the short distance transport methods. How do we measure osmosis? How do we measure whether osmosis is going to happen or not? How do we measure whether facilitated diffusion is going to happen or not? This thing is measured by the help of a equation of water potential. Okay. And I explained to you what that water potential. What is water potential? Water potential is basically the measure of free energy of a substance. Free energy of the substance in this case is water molecules. Pure water is considered to have maximum free energy because they are totally free. For our purposes, for helping in calculations, there is an assumption by scientists that water potential of pure water is taken as 0. Alright. Water potential of pure substances is taken as 0. And after that, what we have to consider, water potential is an equation, the equation of water potential is given by, so please now you can start writing. The equation for water potential is, the equation for water potential is given as psi W is equal to psi S plus psi P. This letter is a Greek letter, it is called psi, P is silent. Psi W is the water potential of solution, water potential of solution. Psi S is equal to solute water potential. Solute water potential. Psi P is the pressure potential. Normally, pressure potential is positive. Solid potential is generally always negative. Now, what are these quantities? What is psi W, what is psi P, and what is psi W? Sorry, what is psi S? So, psi S, please try to consider this diagram that I am going to draw for you. Look, first of all, I am going to draw a diagram of water molecules. Water molecules. In pure water condition, what is happening? All molecules have their maximum free energy here. Only the surface molecules, they are a bit different. Okay. But every molecule is free to move in any direction. In case of water, any molecule is free to move in any direction. So it has maximum free energy. Maximum free energy. Students, are you familiar with the concept of free energy? In electrochemistry, have you studied free energy yet? Are you familiar with the concept of free energy? In chemistry, it's normally this concept is normally discussed. Okay, yeah, all right. So free energy is just like Gibbs free energy. It's basically a measure of the energy or the potential of that substance to perform work. Okay, so maximum free energy is considered of pure water molecules, and for our purposes we have taken that psi W, which is a measure of free energy, is considered to be 0 for pure water. Okay. But for any other substance, water potential will always mean something. Water potential will always mean something. This equation of water potential is given for plant cell. Is given for plant cell. Okay. And what is psi S now? Psi W, I have just told you, it is the measure of free energy of water molecules. Now please consider this second diagram now. If I prepare a solution, suppose I am mixing sucrose in water. So I am supposing sucrose is having red colored molecules, just to show what it is, and let me show water by blue. I am not using black here. Normally water is depicted by color blue, although water is colorless. So blue is water, red is basically sucrose. So because of presence of solute molecules now, the free energy of water molecules decreases compared to pure water. Free energy of water molecules decreases. It decreases, right? So now it will be less compared to 0. If it is lesser compared to 0, what will be the value? It will be negative. And higher the solute, more negative will be the value. Higher the solute concentration, higher the sugar or salt concentration, more will be the negative value of water potential of this solution. And this water potential of only the solution, it is considered to be negative, and psi W is becoming negative. Okay. If there is no plant cell here, because we are not introducing plant cells right now, so whatever water potential will be the value comes, it will be considered the value for this solute is equal to psi s, okay, and it will be negative. Okay. Lesser energy, lesser water potential, and this water potential is taken as solute potential. Solute potential expresses the free energy of solution. Okay. Now I am taking a plant cell and I am putting a plant cells into this solution containing a solute and solvent. I am going to take a plant cell and I am going to put it into this solution. So now please see the situation, what will happen now. Now please see the situation. Now in this case, what is happening now, we have taken a solution and I have just basically introduced a plant cell into it. Okay. So now if I have introduced a plant cell into this solution, let me take okay. So plant cell something like this. Okay. Let me take a hexagon, or you can take anything else also. I am putting a plant cell into this solution. Now please try to understand, if I am putting a plant cell here, this is the cell wall, this is the plasma membrane, this is the plasma membrane. Now there is, normally what will happen is, the cell wall, it does not allow the cell to explode. It pushes the cell membrane up to some extent. It puts some pressure on the cell membrane. So if I am taking a cell and putting it in a solution, what will happen is, there is going to be some pressure that is exerted by the cell wall on the cell membrane. It is pushing it. So it will basically oppose the action of solute potential. The cell wall does not allow the water to excessively enter into the cell and make it explode. So it pushes the cell membrane, and this is basically going to oppose the action of solute which is acting upon the cell. Suppose we are keeping the cell in hypotonic solution, a very dilute solution. So water will try to enter into the cell because it is a very dilute solution. Because water is entering the cell, now the cell will expand in volume, right? And the cell membrane will push. It will also try to push against the cell wall, but the cell wall is very rigid structure. It will not allow the cell to explode. It will push the cell membrane back. This quantity which expresses the pressure exerted by cell wall on cell membrane, it is called pressure potential. Please write. The pressure exerted by cell wall on cell membrane is expressed as psi p equal to pressure potential. psi p equal to pressure potential, and it opposes the solute potential. It opposes the solute potential. Or psi s. Therefore, now we can express it as psi w is equal to psi s plus psi p. This is the total water potential. Normally, it will be negative for any solution, and for pure water it will become 0. Now, I will give you a question and let us see if you can solve it. Normally, the questions in your NEET examinations, they will always follow normally this pattern that I am going to give you now. There are 3 cells, cell A, cell B and cell C. Okay. There are 3 cells. This is cell A, this is plant cell A, this is plant cell B, this is plant cell C. I am going to put some values here of psi s and psi p. Psi s is equal to minus 12 bar. Psi p is equal to plus 5 bar. Psi s is equal to minus 16 bar. Psi p is equal to plus 2 bar. Psi s is equal to minus 20 bar. Psi p is equal to plus 1 bar. Water potential is normally expressed in bar. 1 bar is equal to 1 atmospheric pressure. Now, you have to tell me what will be the direction of movement of water between cells. What will be the direction of movement of water between cells A, B and C? Can you try to find this out by yourself? Do you need more information? Okay, let me explain to you first. If water potential is more negative, compare 2 cells. Suppose let us take pure water and let us take another cell. So, if pure water is 0 and another cell is minus, let us say minus 5. So, water will always move from its higher concentration to lower concentration. So, your hint is water will move from higher water potential to lower water potential. This is your hint. Calculate the psi w values for all these 3 cells. Okay, yeah, it will be a bit difficult. Let me give you the options, because you cannot draw diagrams on your chat box. So, I will give you options. So, first of all, write the psi w values for all these 3 cells. Let me work along with you. Psi w for cell A, psi w for cell A. If anyone solves faster, you can say, instead of putting the arrow, you can say from C to A, C to B, or B to C or B to A. You can answer like this. But anyway, I'll solve along with you. For cell A, psi W value is, psi W is equal to what? Minus 12 plus 5. This means minus 7 bar. Okay. Psi S is 16 and psi P is plus 2. So psi W for cell B is equal to minus 14 bar. Okay. Psi W for cell C is equal to minus 20 plus 1. This means minus 19 bars. I have minus 7, I have minus 14, I have minus 19. So which cell has the highest water potential? Which cell has the highest water potential? Please don't be confused by the minus sign. If I am saying minus sign, that also means something. What I am trying to say here is minus 7 is larger than minus 19. Minus 7 is larger than minus 14. So which cell has the highest water potential? Cell A. Which cell has the lowest water potential? Cell C. Which cell has water potential in between? Cell B. So water will move from higher water potential to lower water potential. So the direction of movement of water, it will be from cell A to B, cell A to C, and what will be the movement of water direction from between B and C? From B to C. Okay, this is the answer. Normally what you get in your options is, let me give you the examples how the option is given. If you are solving the past year questions, you will see there are a lot of questions like this. Option 1, A to B, B to C. Okay. Option 2, C to A to B. Option 3, C to A and B to C and from C to A. Option 4, A to C and from C to B. So what is the correct option? What is the correct option here? A to B and from B to C. Of course, right? So I'm sure you will all be able to solve these type of questions, right? These type of questions will not give you any trouble. Okay. So this is about water potential. Everybody will be able to do such questions. There will be no doubt. I am sure that you will be able to solve these type of questions in no time. Okay. So now water potential has been completed. Osmosis has been completed. And now we can move on to the long distance transport of water, or long distance transport of water through xylem and through phloem. Okay. So let's put the heading long distance transport of water. Long distance transport of water. Long distance transport of water. Okay. So what is long distance transport of water? Let's watch something, just a second. What exactly is the force behind long distance transport of water. What exactly is the force behind the long distance transport of water? Can you tell me? Okay, just a second. Yeah. There is just a second. Okay, wait a bit. Let me show you, because this is not opening. All right. Because this is not opening, so we'll have to use something else. Yeah, okay. All right. So let's watch this first. So this is a diagram basically that illustrates how the water is being transported. Okay. Water first of all enters into the root here. Okay. Water first of all enters the root here, and the force behind which enables the water to be absorbed by the root is, plants' root hair cells first of all they absorb minerals by active transport. First of all, they actually what they do is they do a lot of active transport and transport the minerals from the minerals in the soil to the root hair. Okay. So that is what is happening. If the minerals are entering from the soil solution to the root hair, then there is another thing that is going to happen. Water always will follow the minerals, because as the water potential of soil solution it decreases by uptake of mineral ions, the water potential of soil increases by uptake of mineral ions. The water potential of root hair cells has decreased because they have taken a lot of minerals, so it will become more negative. So water will follow from higher water potential to the lower water potential. This means from the soil to the root hair. After that, cell by cell, it will move from root hair to cortex to endodermis to the finally the xylem cells. Okay. And when it is entering the xylem cells, it is drawn up into the xylem in the stem. Okay. It further moves into the xylem of the leaf, and from the leaf it is going undergo evaporation or transpiration. And this flow of water, it requires the adhesion, cohesion, and because of these also there is a force of capillarity. The water becomes an unbreakable liquid. Liquid column does not break. Okay. So let's watch something. It will enable you to help to understand it better. Okay. So we are going to, just a second. Okay. Just a second. All right. So this has basically gone from that part to this part now. Right. All right. So yeah. Okay. So because of forces of called cohesion, the water molecule becomes an unbreakable liquid. So what you are seeing here, it is an unbreakable liquid, right? And this is sticking to the walls of the capillary. Okay. This is shown by this diagram here. The blue colored are the water molecules, and they are sticking to the xylem capillaries, xylem vessel and xylem tracheids, and they are also sticking with each other. Sticking with another substance is called adhesion. Sticking with the same force is called cohesion. Okay, and because of capillarity combined with cohesion addition, it becomes an unbreakable liquid. And if water is lost from the leaves, new water molecules will also be absorbed at the same time from the root. So whatever molecule is lost at the top, it will be regained from the bottom. So this cycle will continue. It is like pulling a never ending rope. You're just pulling a never ending rope of water molecules, and because of all this happening, the collective amount of trees, they absorb so much water and they transpire so much water. It is the main reason for the formation of clouds in the atmosphere. Okay, so whatever climate change is happening, whatever changes are happening in our earth, we are saying that because of less amount of trees, there will be no clouds at all. So, okay, so these all changes are affected by the transpiration only. So let's write a few points now. How is transpiration happening in the root? Okay. Okay, yeah, all right. So let's have a 5-minute break. And but isn't the roots water absorbed by osmosis? Yeah, okay. Let me explain it to you. The water is absorbed by osmosis. There is no doubt about it. But how is it happening? Osmosis will not happen by itself. Roots are already having a lot of solutions and they have a lot of water. If they have to absorb new water molecules, they will first have to uptake some minerals. They will have to absorb some minerals first, and when they absorb the minerals, then water will follow. First of all, they have to absorb the minerals, then water will follow. How will water follow? It will follow itself by osmosis. It is osmosis, no problem about that. But first of all, we have to do active transport. Then osmosis of water will happen. Osmosis is a special type of diffusion in which only water molecules can move. We cannot move minerals. Okay, minerals are moved by active transport. Water moves itself passively without expending ATP by osmosis. Okay, the roots absorb water by osmosis, but for osmosis to happen, they have to do active transport. This is the theory. Okay, so if you need a break, just a second. Okay, it means that it occurs by osmosis, but it is supplemented by active transport. It is initiated by active transport, and then naturally it will happen by osmosis. Okay, so come after the break, then I'll write all these points for you. Take a 5-10 minute break. Stamming long students, yeah, stamming long students, you have not reported your attendance also. Go for break, but just come back quickly, okay? Alright, so after the break, I'll give you the notes for long distance transport of water, okay? Alright, take a break. Okay, so please settle down. All right. See, we're talking about how the water has the capability to move up through the xylem and evaporate from the leaf, and yeah, okay, so you have a doubt again here. It means that it occurs by osmosis, but it is supplemented by active transport. I have already told you, active transport initiates it and osmosis is the resulting phenomenon. Okay, I hope this clears your doubt. Active transport is the first phenomenon and it is followed by osmosis. All right. So let's take a look at this phenomenon again. The roots are going to absorb the basically the water molecules, and this water molecule, it has to go into the xylem vessel. So this is a section of a xylem vessel, and xylem vessels is made up of lignin. Water molecules are going to stick to the walls of this xylem vessel. The property of sticking to the wall of a different substance, of substance of different origin, it is called adhesion, adhesive force. Just like Fevicol is an adhesive, right? And the capability to stick to the molecules of same kind, it is called cohesion or cohesive force. So because of intermolecular forces and adhesion, the water column is created in the xylem vessel in the form of a capillary, of a water capillary, and they are transported or carried up in a single direction from bottom to top, always, never in the reverse direction. Okay, this is the process by which this is happening. Okay, so let's write down now. Water is absorbed by root hair through osmosis. Okay. First of all, the mineral ions, are taken up by active transport, followed by osmosis of water. Okay. So this is the first process. First of all, active transport, then osmosis, and now the water column. Now the water molecules pass from one cell to other cell, pass from root hair cells to cortical cells, to root cortex cells, just a second, root cortex cells. Okay. Now the root cortex cells, look, this is a root hair cell, and just sitting on the adjacent side is a thick walled cortical root cell, like this, cortical root cell. Now each cell, you know, it has a cell wall and a cell membrane. So I am going to draw the inside of the cell like this. This is a cell membrane, blue colored cell membrane. like this. Like this. Okay. And water molecules, I am going to represent them by blue color only, light blue color, H2O molecules. Okay. So, water molecules are going to pass from two pathways. Either they can cross from one cell to the other, from one cell wall to other cell wall, from one cell wall to other cell wall, or they have a different pathway also. They can move from inside the cell also. Either they can move from inside the cell or go from cell wall to cell wall. Now, which pathway do you think will be faster? Where will the movement of water molecules be faster? From the outer of the part like the cell membrane, outer part like from the cell wall, or by passing through between the cells. Cells have plasmodesmata, right? So, which pathway do you think will be faster? Very slow. Try to answer a bit faster. The pathway in which water follows the cell walls, it will be faster. Okay. So, there are two movement of water pathways, two movement pathways. One is called apoplast, other is called symplast. So, apoplastic pathway will be faster and symplast will be slower. Apoplast will be faster, symplast will be slower. So, please write now here. This blue colored pathway, light blue colored pathway, it represents the apoplast. Apoplast pathway. Okay. Through cell walls. Cell walls are thick, they are porous. So, cell walls allow a good material of exchange. Just like tissue paper. Tissue paper is an example of cell wall. You can see how porous that is. Put a tissue paper in a glass full of water, it will quickly absorb water, right? So, it is cell wall material. So, cell wall will rapidly help in the movement of water. It is faster. The other pathway is the a symplast pathway. Symplast pathway through cells or plasmodesmata, through living cells. It is comparatively slower. There are two pathways for the movement of water. Water can go from, this is a root hair cell, this is a cells of cortex, these are cells of cortex. So, water can move from, so question has been asked in your NEET examination, which pathway will be faster? It was actually a true false statement. There were 4 options and students had to select the false statement. So, the false statement was water conduction through symplast is faster. It is actually slower compared to apoplast. So it is actually slower, but the option given in the NEET examination was that it is faster compared to apoplast. It is a wrong statement. All right. So let's continue. So this figure is also given in your NCERT. I'm just drawing it for helping you out. Right. So water will pass from one cell to the other. Okay, and basically let's okay. All right. Now when it passes from one cell to the other, there is going to be an interruption somewhere. Can you guess the name of that interruption, where this interruption will happen? Can you guess the name of the interruption where the cells are going to be interrupted? Apoplast and symplast, where is the interruption going to happen? The interruption happens, the apoplast, symplast, please write the next point, the apoplast and symplast continue up till cells of endodermis. Continue up till cells of endodermis. Why cells of endodermis? Because in endodermis, let me show you the diagram that I had drawn for you previously. Look, this diagram we have already done when we had studied the cross section of root. So outer layer is root hair layer, then there is cortical layer, right? Cortical layer, then there is endodermis layer, and endodermis is not continuous. Endodermis is having Casparian strips, discontinuous, okay, and Casparian strips are the points where water is pushed with force, okay, into a particular area. So water molecules, they basically go from this direction outside to the inside from the root hair, and from all the directions they will come up till the cells of the Casparian strips. This is the endodermis part, right? Endodermis, and it contains suberized cork cells called Casparian strips. Cells are present. So cell cannot move water from cell to endodermis cell because cell wall is blocked. It has Casparian strip. Now what we will do? We can only transport water from outside to inside endodermis by symplastic pathway. So there is an interruption here. Apoplast will stop and only symplast pathway will occur in the zone of endodermis region. Okay. So here only symplast pathway will occur. Symplast only. Okay. So please write, continue up to the cells of endodermis. The endodermal cells have Casparian strips. The endodermal cells have Casparian strips. The endodermal cells have Casparian strips. Just a second. Frozen next bit. Cells of endodermis. The endodermal cells have Casparian strips. and so water cannot move through cell wall or move through apoplast pathway here. Therefore, only simplast pathway will transport water through endodermis. Into xylem vessels. Sorry, into xylem vessels. Right? So we had to do up till this part. Up till this part, it is clear that water is moving from root cells to the xylem vessels. Now the next thing happens. Passing through plasmodesmata. Yeah, exactly. Plasmodesmata and the cytoplasm only. The next means of transport here. Now water enters the xylem, tracheids and vessels. Xylem tracheids and xylem vessels. Okay. And what is going to happen now? The water rises in the water rises into the xylem vessel, xylem through capillarity plus cohesion and adhesion forces. Okay. Because of capillarity, cohesion and adhesion, and a water column is created. Water column is created which goes up to the leaves of the plant. Now if we can simulate this experiment by using very small capillaries, glass capillaries, it has been found that by capillary cohesion and adhesion, water can rise up to a height of 130 meters. Okay. Water can rise by these forces. Water can rise up to 130 meters. By these forces, water can rise up to a height of 130 meters in plants. Do you also know the height of the maximum the maximum length tree. What is the height of the maximum length tree in the world? Do you know? Okay, all right, no answers. There are two trees. There are two trees in the world which are the tallest. One tree happens also to be the tallest and the largest tree. It is a redwood tree, Sequoia sempervirens, and it is in North America. It's so huge that previously one tree of this generation, it was so huge that we had to cut a road through that tree trunk. It was so huge, right? So the nominal basically the longest tree is about 115 meters, and its name is Hyperion. Okay. So I have just told you that water can rise up to a height of 130 meters. So 115 meters, 110 meters is a eucalyptus tree called, it goes by the name of Hyperion, and there is another tree it's called by the name of, I think it's called something else. It's not Hyperion, I just forgot the name. So there is another tree that is second tallest. It's a eucalyptus tree. The tallest tree is it's a redwood tree called Hyperion. Okay, so basically we can give them a height up to 130 meters. Now the next thing is, because water is rising up to a height of 130 meters, so we can safely assume that this is the this is basically a sound theory of basically satisfying theory that water can successfully rise up to this much height. Otherwise, previously there was another theory called root pressure theory, and based on root pressure theory, some new questions are being asked in your NEET examination. Now next you will write, this theory of cohesion plus adhesion and capillarity of water explaining the movement of water through xylem is called transpirational pull theory. Transpirational pull theory. It's called transpirational pull theory. Yeah, okay. Alright, so yeah, exactly, Shillong students. The tallest eucalyptus tree is around 110 meters. It has a different name. I'm just not sure about the name right now. And it is 110 meter, but the tallest tree in the world at present is actually a gymnosperm called Sequoia, a redwood tree. Yeah, exactly. Very good that you know about this. I'm very happy. Right. Transpirational pull theory. Now there is another pressure which can move the plants. Look, some plants do not have xylem at all. Like pteridophytes, they have some xylem, but bryophytes do not have xylem. So in those plants, how does transpiration happen? How do they conduct water? So in very soft herbaceous plants, there is another type of phenomenon observed. It is called root pressure. Okay, root pressure. So please write root pressure theory. It was an obsolete theory. It has now been discarded. It was based upon osmosis root pressure theory. What is root pressure theory? Look, osmosis exists in a plant. That you have already seen. Osmosis exists in a plant. You have already seen. So, according to this theory, the roots of a plant maintain a high osmotic pressure, which causes movement of water or causes water to rise up through plant stem to leaves. Now, root pressure is actually responsible for movement of water in very soft herbaceous plants, but it cannot be so strong that it can transport water up to 110 meters, 130 meters. It is not possible. So, root pressure is now a discarded theory that water can rise up to some level, but it cannot rise so much high. Okay, it cannot rise so much high. Now, there is a root pressure theory is actually not asked, but there is another term, very important term for your NEET examination, a very important term. It will definitely come in your NEET examination. This theory is called, this phenomenon is called guttation. Sorry, I draw a double T. Guttation. Now, what is guttation? Please take a look at this picture. Just a second. Okay. Yeah. Please take a look at this picture. You can see drops of water coming out from the plant parts. All right. So, this phenomenon is called guttation. This phenomenon that water droplets, that causes water to rise through soft herbaceous parts through water pores present in the plant, it is called guttation. Okay. So, this phenomenon that I am just showing you here, it is basically guttation. So, let me show you few more things. This will not open there. Okay, so no problem. Let us write about guttation. What is guttation? It is important for your NEET examination. The secretion of water droplets or xylem sap on the tips or leaf edges, on the tips or leaf edges of some plants, example grasses, okay, some grasses and some grasses. Let's write an example: garden nasturtium, garden nasturtium, garden nasturtium, please you must remember, etc. Garden nasturtium is more important. Garden nasturtium is a plant which gives orange colored flowers in the summers, and it has oval shaped leaves and it has orange colored flowers. It has leaves like this, and the water comes out through special pores, and these are called water stomata or hydatodes. Water stomata or hydatodes. So this is a garden nasturtium leaf, garden nasturtium leaf showing droplets of water, showing droplets of water. So this is called guttation, is called guttation. Now one more point, guttation happens through water stomata or hydatodes. Guttation occurs through water stomata or hydatodes. Okay. Guttation is a phenomenon happening through water stomata or hydatodes, and what happens is, in early morning you can see water droplets clearly, just like the figure I showed you. It can be seen early in the morning, because when you see in the afternoon, basically all the water will have evaporated. So xylem sap can also contain some excretory substances also, and this is excreted out from water stomata. So guttation is also called, in guttation basically water is excreted out also. Guttation is sometimes also called water excretion. Guttation is sometimes also referred as, is also sometimes referred as water excretion. Okay. It may contain some excretory substances also along with water. Okay. So this is about guttation. Guttation is done. Root pressure theory is done. Okay. So in the next class we will basically discuss some things about guttation, related to guttation. Sorry, related to the translocation of water. And this chapter will be finished in the next class also, and we'll basically continue with the mineral transport. And after mineral transport, we'll continue with the chapter of photosynthesis. So the next class, this chapter will be finished. A very small part has been just remained in this chapter. So next class we'll continue with that. Okay. So thank you, dear students. If you want these notes, let me know. I'll just send these notes exactly to you in the next class, okay, on your WhatsApp group. Okay. So let me know if you need these notes as well. I will give you as these notes are, and I'll send them to you. Okay. So thank you. Take your lunch break now, and I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.